1. Today's hearing features a classic sovereign-citizen clash, this time before Judge Fair, and the situation turns unusual right from the start. The defendant decided that standard government-issued license plates were too conventional and replaced them with a homemade version, setting off a chain of legal issues he clearly didn't anticipate. Courts across the country, including the Supreme Court, have repeatedly affirmed that driving is a regulated privilege, not an unrestricted right. Yet he insists on treating it otherwise. What makes this case even more surprising is that Judge Fair appears far more patient and accommodating than expected, giving the defendant every opportunity to correct course. I'm curious how you interpret that approach, because my view is that leniency with sovereign citizen arguments can sometimes invite more confusion than clarity. With that in mind, let's take a closer look at how this hearing unfolds and examine exactly how the court handled his claims. 2. Judge Fair attempts to get the defendant to comply with standard legal procedures. But anyone familiar with sovereign citizen behavior knows that cooperation is rarely part of their strategy. This defendant isn't only using a fabricated travel license plate. He's also missed required court appearances, resisted officers, and treated basic laws as optional guidelines. At some point, every judge has to balance patience with accountability, because if the court doesn't enforce the rules, it leaves the door open for increasingly extreme interpretations. The legal equivalent of someone presenting a self-drawn passport and declaring themselves exempt from all regulation. While Judge Fair's calm approach is admirable, it also raises questions about how effective leniency is with individuals who fundamentally reject the system. I'd love to hear your thoughts on whether a firmer response would have helped here, because the case only gets more complicated as we go. Let's continue. 3. The defendant flashes a smile and a thumbs up, seemingly pleased that the consequences he faced were far lighter than they could have been, and it highlights a real challenge courts encounter when dealing with sovereign citizen ideology. When individuals repeatedly ignore laws and procedures, a minimal penalty can end up sending a message that their tactics work, even when the court is simply trying to move the case forward efficiently. Fortunately, we have another hearing to examine where the next defendant takes the sovereign citizen script even further, and this time Judge Perkins responds with far more direct clarity. His approach offers a strong contrast to the previous courtroom interaction, and it reveals the difference firm judicial guidance can make. Let's break down exactly how the second hearing unfolds and why it stands out. For, in the next case, the defendant genuinely believes the judge's interpretation of the law holds no weight. Speaking with wheelchair van, we're not negotiating. With money and a course. If you're not, subscribe, hit that button, because what happens next will show you what happens. When someone thinks congressional, position and money erase consequences of destroying a disabled veterans, independence. Mr. Preston, do you understand what happened? Tyler looks up from his phone. Yeah, I hit someone's van, but my family will pay for damages. We have good insurance. It's handled. Put that phone down and look at me. Tyler reluctantly complies. Do you know who you hit? Some guy in a van. I don't know his name. That some guy is Sergeant Marcus Williams, a Marine who lost both legs in Iraq. The van you destroyed cost $85,000 with wheelchair lifts and medical equipment that allows him to live independently despite losing both legs. For our freedom, Tyler shifts uncomfortably. Okay, well, my dad will buy him a new one. That's why we have insurance. These things can be replaced. Judge Caprio stands. Can 3 years of savings be replaced? Can specific medical modifications be instantly replaced? Can his independence, while he waits months, be replaced? When you got out of your car, did you check if Sergeant Williams was okay? I called my dad and our attorney. There were other than the people helping. I figured he was fine. You figured he was fine. A Marine veteran with no legs trapped in a crushed wheelchair van. And you figured he was fine. Officer Rodriguez testifies. Tyler admitted texting. Mentioned his father's congressional position multiple times. Never asked about Sergeant Williams. Judge Caprio calls Marcus Williams. Veterans help. Marcus' position is wheelchair. He's wearing his Purple Heart medal. Sergeant Williams, thank you for being here. Can you tell the court about the impact? Marcus takes a breath. Your Honor, I was stopped at a red light. I saw a car coming fast, not slowing. 1 second to brace before impact. The collision reminded me of the IED that took my legs. Same helplessness. Your Honor, I lost my legs in 2008 in Iraq. 2 years. Learning to live again. That van took 3 years to save for. $85,000. Every modification was medically necessary. Hand controls because I have no legs. Wheelchair lift because I can't walk. Custom seating for my spine. Without it, I can't get to VA. Appointments. Can't visit my 72-year-old mother with dementia. Can't volunteer at the Veterans Center. Can't grocery shop. I'm completely dependent again. My independence is gone. Has Mr. Preston contacted you? No, Your Honor. Nothing. No apology. No apology. No call. His attorney sent a letter offering repairs, but the van is totaled, even with money. Today, modifications take 6 months. Minimum. The courtroom is silent. Veterans are crying. Tyler looks uncomfortable, and that's when Tyler pulls out his phone and starts texting. Mr. Preston, did you just pull out your phone? I was texting my dad about insurance details. Bailiff, confiscate that phone. Mr. Preston, you destroyed Sergeant Williams' van because you were texting, and you're texting in my courtroom while he describes how you destroyed his independence. You've mentioned your father multiple times. You told officers he's a congressman who knows judges. You said he'll buy a new van. You just texted him during this hearing. Let's talk to your father right now. Judge Caprio instructs the clerk to contact Congressman David Preston's office immediately. Within minutes, they have him on the line. Judge Caprio puts the call on speakerphone so the entire packed courtroom can hear, including Marcus Williams in his wheelchair and all the veterans who came to support him. Congressman Preston, this is Judge Frank Caprio in Providence Municipal Court. Your son Tyler is here for a hearing regarding charges stemming from an accident where he was texting while driving and crashed into a disabled Marine veteran specially modified wheelchair accessible van. Your son has mentioned multiple times that you'll handle this, that you'll buy a new van, that you know judges. I'm putting you on speaker so we can discuss this publicly. There's a pause. When Congressman Preston speaks, his voice is professional but cautious. Your Honor, I'm aware of the accident. I've spoken with our attorney about that, the insurance claim and financial restitution. We're prepared to make this right financially. Judge Caprio continues. Congressman, I want to make sure you understand the full situation. Your son was texting while driving, which is illegal. He crashed into Sergeant Marcus Williams' van at 40 miles per hour. Sergeant Williams is a Marine veteran who lost both legs in Iraq. His van was specially modified with $50,000 in medical equipment and costs $85,000 total to replace. Your son never asked. And just now, during this hearing, your son pulled out his phone to text you while Sergeant Williams was describing how your son destroyed his independence. The silence that follows is heavy. Congressman Preston's voice, when it returns, has changed completely. Your Honor, is Sergeant Williams present in the courtroom? He is, Congressman, in his wheelchair wearing his Purple Heart medal. Another long pause. Congressman, your son has told multiple people that you'll buy Sergeant Williams a new van, that you'll handle this with money. I need to ask you directly, are you calling to request special treatment for your son because of your congressional position? What congressman? Preston says next will shock his son and define his integrity? No, Your Honor. Absolutely not. I'm calling to tell you that my son needs to face the full consequences of his actions. I'm a Congressman Judge Caprio, but before that, I'm a Marine. Tyler's head snaps. Up, Dad. Congressman Preston continues. Tyler, be quiet and listen. Your Honor, I serve in the Marine Corps before my political career. I understand what Sergeant Williams sacrificed. I understand what that van means to his independence, and I'm ashamed that my son destroyed it while texting and then showed no remorse. Judge Caprio asks, Congressman, you're a Marine veteran. Yourself. Yes, Your Honor. I served from 1985 to 1992. I left as a captain. The Marine Corps taught me about honor, about sacrifice, about taking care of your brothers. I've tried to instill those values in my son. Clearly, I failed. Tyler tries to interrupt. Dad, you said you'd handle this. You said, Tyler. Congressman Preston's voice becomes stern. I said I'd handle it. I didn't say I'd make it disappear. Handling it means you facing consequences for destroying a fellow Marine's independence while you were doing something stupid and illegal. The courtroom is riveted. Congressman Preston continues. Your Honor, I want to address Sergeant Williams directly if he's willing. Judge Caprio looks at Marcus, who nods. Go ahead, Congressman. Sergeant Williams, my name is David Preston. Before I was a congressman, I was a Marine captain. I want to tell you that I'm sorry. I'm sorry my son destroyed your van. I'm sorry he showed no concern for your well-being. I'm sorry he treated your sacrifice with such disrespect. You gave your legs for our country. My son took your independence because he couldn't put his phone down. That's unconscionable. Marcus responds, his voice thick with emotion. Congressman, I appreciate your words. Your Honor, may I say something? Of course, Sergeant. Congressman Preston, I can hear in your voice that you're a Marine. You understand what it means to serve. Your son doesn't. Not yet, but maybe this will teach him. Congressman Preston's voice breaks slightly. Sergeant Williams, thank you. Your Honor, I want to be very clear about my position. Whatever sentence you believe is appropriate for my son, I support it completely. If that includes jail time, so be it. If it includes suspension of his license, I agree. My son needs to learn that actions have consequences, and that being a congressman's son doesn't make you special. The Marines are special. Sergeant Williams is special. He's the one who sacrificed. Judge Caprio asks, Congressman, you mentioned financial restitution. Yes, Your Honor, I am prepared to personally pay for Sergeant Williams' new van, all $85,000, plus any additional costs for equivalent modifications, but that's separate from my son's legal consequences. That's me fulfilling a moral obligation to a fellow Marine. It's not a replacement for justice. It's what honor demands. Tyler stares at his father in disbelief. Dad, you're supposed to be helping me. Congressman Preston responds, Tyler, I am helping you. For the first time in your privileged life, I'm helping you. Learn that your actions affect real people, that a Marine who gave his legs for your freedom deserves respect. That texting while driving isn't a minor mistake. It's a choice that destroyed someone's life. Judge Caprio thanks the congressman. The call ends. Tyler sits at the defense table completely stunned. His expected rescue transformed into public accountability from his own Marine veteran father. Judge Caprio's voice is firm. Mr. Preston, your father, the Congressman you've been hiding behind just told this court to hold you fully accountable. And he's right. Let me tell you what's going to happen. The sentence Judge Caprio delivers is severe for reckless driving and distracted driving, causing serious harm. $500,000. Fine. 1-year license suspension. 500 hours of community service, specifically at VA hospitals and veteran centers, serving disabled veterans in 30 days. In county jail to begin immediately. Tyler's attorney objects. Your Honor, 30 days jail for a first offense traffic violation is excessive. Judge Caprio's response is devastating. Mr. Bradford, your client destroyed a disabled Marine veteran's independence while doing something he knew was illegal. He showed zero remorse. He never asked if Sergeant Williams was okay. He texted in my courtroom during the hearing, and his attitude has been that his father's money and position will make this disappear. 30 days is appropriate. This sentence stands. The sentence $5,000 fine, 1-year license, suspension, 500 hours community service at VA hospitals serving disabled veterans, and 30 days jail immediately. Bradford objects. 30 days jail for traffic violation is excessive. Mr. Bradford, your client destroyed a disabled Marine's independence doing something illegal, showed zero remorse, never asked if Sergeant Williams was okay, texted in my courtroom. 30 days is appropriate as Tyler is taken into custody. He stops at Marcus' wheelchair. I'm sorry. I should have asked if you were okay. I should have put my phone down. Marcus responds. Young man, I hope you learn freedom isn't free. I gave my leg so you could text your friends. The least you could do is respect that sacrifice. 2 days later, Congressman Preston visits. Marcus personally presents documentation for purchasing an $85,000 new van with expedited delivery, establishes a $500,000 fund for disabled veterans needing vehicle modifications. Tyler serves 30 days. During 500 hours at the VA, he meets dozens of disabled veterans, hears their stories, sees their struggles. At 200 hours, a Marine with no arms. At 350 hours, a veteran with PTSD. At 500 hours, he finally understands. 1 year later, Tyler has been phone free while driving for 12 months. Continues volunteering beyond mandated hours. Study social work to help disabled veterans. He's learned privilege is responsibility, not a shield. Congressman Preston focuses on veteran services. When asked about his son's case, I don't regret holding Tyler accountable. I regret I had to. The Marines taught me to take care of my brothers. My son needed to learn that the hard way. Don't forget to subscribe for more courtroom moments where privilege meets accountability. Tyler Preston walked into court thinking his father's money would make everything disappear. He said, my dad will buy you a new one, as if independence could be purchased. Instead, he heard his Marine father tell Judge Caprio to hold him accountable. He heard his father apologize to the Marine he'd hurt. He heard his father choose honor over protection. And those words became the moment that taught him independence can't be bought. Sacrifice must be honored, and some things matter more than money. That's justice. That's integrity. That's the legacy of Judge Frank Caprio and Congressman David Preston.